everyone. Welcome back to the video tutorial series of the web development. In last lecture, we have learned about JavaScript functions. We have learned two types of JavaScript functions, which are JavaScript inbuilt function and JavaScript user-defined functions. So in last lecture, we have seen how to define the user-defined function and how we can evaluate, how we can invoke, and how functions can return the value. Okay, so in this lecture, we will learn about how we can define the JavaScript function, basic functionality, and then we will learn the arithmetic operations using the JavaScript and how we can call the functions on button, on click, etc. So let's start this video tutorial series. Okay, let's look at here. Here, just define one HTML program. So here HTML and this define just head part. In head part, define the title. Okay, in title, just define that JavaScript function. Okay, now here in this body portion, define one p tag. Suppose we are doing this program this program is for multiplication of two numbers. Okay, now here next define the script tag. You can define script tag anywhere in head portion also or in body portion also. Now here define one functions. How to define the function? Just give one tab. It is not compulsory, but just it will look good, and that's why. Okay, to define the functions, we compulsory have to write the function keyword. Then next, what you have to write? Name of your function. Suppose I am writing my function, and at the end you have to define the parenthesis. So this is what the declaration of the function. Okay, now we have defined the function in which just write down something. Suppose I am writing document dot write this text, this text is from function. Okay, now we have defined the function. We have to call the function. So what you have to write? You have to write the name of your function. So just call it using the name of the function. So here we have called that thing. Now just save this program and execute the program. Okay, so here you can see this program is for the multiplication of two numbers. Okay, we have just displayed this using the function. So you can display using the document.write. So this for text is from the function that is displayed using the function. Okay, now to define the multiplication, let's see. Okay, so just remove this now. To define the multiplication, suppose I am defining two variable a and b. Okay, now what it will define? Suppose I am writing document dot write what? A into b. Suppose 5 into 5. Okay, so what will be the output? Your output will be 25. See, here you can see this output will be 25. Okay, so here like this way we can display on the document directly. But suppose if you want to display this thing in a particular element. Suppose you want to display this thing in a one p tag, then how we can define it? So let's see over here. Suppose I am defining one p tag here, p. For that, you have to define the id. Suppose I am defining id is equal to demo. You have to write in double quote. Okay, I'm defining id is equal to demo and just close this. Okay, and right over here, answer will be displayed in p tag. Mm, okay, ठीक. Now, what you have to write? Suppose I am defining this function, and when the function will return the value, so what we have to do? We have to return a into b. Okay, return a into b. So where this return value will be stored? So for that purpose, what you have to write? You have to define document dot get element, sorry, document dot get element by id. In bracket you have to write the id, which id that you have defined for the p tag. So I am writing over here, that is demo. Then next, what you have to write? Dot inner html. This thing we have learned in MSc1 syllabus. Okay, so inner html is equal to my function. Okay, so here inner html is equal to my function we have defined. So this output will be assigned to this and it will be displayed in this particular address. So what will be the id of p? So here in p tag that value will be displayed. So let's see the output for this. Sorry, it is defining, not a number. Let's check it. Okay, we have not defined value for this. So A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 6. Okay, now execute this again. Okay, now here you can see the output is 30. So like this way you can display the output in inner HTML also. That means if you want to display the particular output in a particular tag, then also it is possible using that ID. So using the inner HTML you can display the output of the function also. Now what is that? Suppose we have to pass the parameter. Okay, so how we can pass the parameter? Here suppose I am defining p1 and p2. So these are the two parameters of the functions. So whenever we are calling that functions, what we have to do? Not p1 and p2, we have defined a and b, so take a and b only. Okay, now so whenever we are calling the functions, what you have to do? You have to pass the parameter over here. So pass here 6 and 5. So that means we are calling the functions by parameter. So here just delete this. Okay, so this function will return a into b, that will be stored over here and again it will display. So this is what parameterized function. So let's see the output. Again it is same, just change the parameter so you have the little idea. Just change to 7. Clear? So here you can see this is a 35. So that is the multiplication of the that function multiplication using that function, so that output will be displayed over here. Okay, now Now next practical is about to change the background color of the body. So let's remove this thing from over here. Okay, just remove this and just remove this. Okay, to change the background color of the body, what you have to write? You have to write, suppose here, what you have to write? Document dot body dot style dot background is equal to, you have to write, suppose here, yellow. Okay, semicolon. Now when we call this function, suppose we are calling the functions over here. So let's see the output. You will get the background color that is yellow. Okay, now suppose I want to call this function on a button click. So what you have to do, you have to define one for button. So here define button. In button name, write down, click here to change background color. Okay, now here in button click event, what you have to write? You have to write the function. So which function and when? So when we will click the button, so what you have to write? On click. On click. Okay, on click is equal to, our function name is what? My function. Okay, so we just have to call this function and just close this. So whenever we will click this button, it will display the background color that is yellow. So sorry, by default it is giving the yellow color because we have executed it once. That's why just close all tabs, close this. And again we have called over here. Okay, so here just execute this function. Now click here. So we call the functions on the click event and it is changing the background color also, and just change the color to any different color, for example red, and just execute the practical, so you will have the different color also. So like this way you can call the event on the button click. Okay, now you have the better idea about how we can call the functions. You can call the function and you can display the output in a inner HTML also. You can call the function on a button click event also. Okay, now you are aware about this, so let's see the arithmetic operations program that I have already written. So let's execute. So let's understand about this. So here you can see this is the JavaScript arithmetic calculations program in which I have defined the script. In script I have defined 4 functions. First see the output for this and then we will understand this. So here you can see this two number is that number 1 and number 2. So that means we have to define the value. So this is user side input. User have to enter this two value, and whenever I will click on this, it will display the output according to this. For example, 6 and 2. So I will add it. So it will display 8, subtract it. So 4, multiplication 12, division 3 and modulo 0. Okay, so like this way you have to display the output. So let's see how we can execute such type of program using the JavaScript. So for that, you have to write different functions for multiplication, division, subtraction, then modulo, and then division. Okay, so first multiplication. For multiplication, where we have defined the value, we have used form element. Okay, so first see the form element. Here I have defined Number one, that you can write by default. If you are using label, then also it is fine. Number one, input type text name first. Okay, input type text name second. This name we will use. Then get result input type text name total. Then next we have defined four button as we have defined in previous practical also. Input type button value add, and on click we will call the JavaScript addition function. Here you can directly write the addition, subtraction, multiply, division. It's directly also. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus, we are calling this function. Okay, so let's see. So here you can see a define two variables directly. A is equal to number. Number is the object. So whatever the value is there, that will be converted directly to the number. You know the type conversion. So it will be converted to number directly. Document dot Michael, from the where Michael is came, we have given the name of the form, that is Michael. Here you can see form name, that is my calculator. Okay, that's why it is showing Michael dot first dot value. Okay, which value we have to consider now in a first, because we have given the name to first to this number one, that's why. And we have given the name to second, that is this to second number of input box. Okay, so here we have considered the first and second. Okay, first document dot my dot document dot Michael dot first dot value. Same way document dot Michael dot second dot value. So whatever the value is inserted in that particular text box, that will be converted to the number. And we have to return c is equal to a into b. Okay, so here we have to find one another variable, c is equal to a into b. So multiplication will be stored in this c. And where we have to write this output, we have to write this output to document dot mycal dot total dot value c. So total, that means your third input box where your output should be displayed. So name of that is total. Here you can see. Okay, so here document dot mycal dot total dot value is equal to what? C, because c is defining the multiplication of this two number. Same logic is applied over here, just we have changed the this notation, that is plus, minus, division, and modulo. Okay, so like this way we can define the arithmetic calculations. Here just execute this program so you have the better idea about this, as we have executed in starting. So here define this 25, this is number 1 and its value is stored in first, because we have defined the name of this is as a first. And this is number 2 and value of this is stored in second, because we have defined its name as a second. And this is get result, so that is a total, so we have defined its name as total. So whenever we are clicking on this button, uh, that related functions will be called and that value will be assigned in the get result. Now add, that means 45, subtract, that means 5, multiplication, that is 500, division, that is 1.25, and modulo, that is 5. Okay, so like this way you can define, suppose you are defining a and here b, then it will give the not a number, because we are using the number type conversion. So here it is giving that nan, that means not a number. Okay, clear? For each and every function it is giving the error not a number. Okay, so here you can see. So like this way you can define the arithmetic calculations. Okay, so these are the user defined functions practicals. In next lecture we will see another topic. So till that time, thank you for watching. We will meet again in the next lecture. Thank you.